Gifted Hands Synopsis. Biography of Ben Carson, who grew up to be Dr. Ben Carson, a world-famous neurosurgeon at Johns Hopkins.
Hey guys, and welcome. This is kind of a little bit sort of, I guess you could call not a special request because it wasn't requested. However, my mum actually told me about this movie. Now obviously if you clicked on the title of this, you know already what it is. This movie is Gifted Hands. And before I get started, here is a quick little tiny introduction from my mum. Enjoy.
Hello, my name's Debbie, mother of Superman Stephen. I told him about this awesome movie that he's going to tell you all about, so hope you enjoyed as much as I did. So God bless you and be safe.
So there you go. Yes, that really was my mum. I asked her to do just a little bit of a intro just to show that she actually was the one who told me about this movie. I feel like I heard about this movie like many years ago. However, I obviously just didn't hit my radar, whatever. And my mum obviously told me that this movie was on Netflix, and so I thought, you know what? No, I'm gonna bite the bullet. I need to check this out. So I did, and man, am I glad I did. Wow. So before I get started, guys, for anyone who has been following my channel for any period of time, guys, I do not ever do spoilers in my movie reviews, and technically, there isn't really spoilers in this movie. Like technically, it's not one of those movies. And the reason why I say that is because the movie kind of starts with the ending. And yes, it is one of those movies where the ending is the beginning of the movie, and then they allude back to it at the end of the movie, because it needs to paint a very clear and very precise and a very accurate picture for the audience members, so that because a movie like this, if you kind of cut the start of it off, which is the ending, and then watched it, it kind of in a sense wouldn't make sense. And one of the things, before I go into the nitty gritties of this movie review, which I really want to just unpack for you guys, I kind of felt when the movie first started, that Cuba Gooding Jr., who's the main guy in this, I kind of felt like he wasn't given enough screen time. But now, after watching the movie, I realized, I just needed to be patient and let the movie unfold, because I wasn't wrong, but there was more to it than what I was expecting there to be. And so I just had to kind of bear with myself through the movie and just take in what's happening. So camera angling, and it really is camera angling in certain shots. You don't even need dialogue behind them. And there's a shot in the film that blew my mind, and it purely, all it was a camera angle. The character didn't actually say anything. So what it was is this character got bad news about a situation. Again, no spoilers. Bad news about a situation that she was faced with. And it was really fascinating, because she came to the edge of it, what looked like maybe a 2 to 3 story ledge, like a balcony, like it looked like she was on a bridge in a building, and the camera was well below her. It was very physically obvious that how the camera was a fair distance away, and they obviously used a decent lens to really punch in on her features, on her face. But the fascinating element about this shot, and this is literally one of the opening sequences of this movie, is we're looking up at her from down below, and all it was her. It was outstanding. All it was her facial expression in that moment, that us as audiences knew exactly what could have gone down in that moment, what she was actually thinking. Again, it had to do with camera angling and her expression. You knew what she was thinking. And I thought to myself, now that is direction perfection. Honestly, it was brilliant. It was so awesome because we didn't need to guess as an audience, oh, I wonder what she's thinking. We knew. We knew exactly what she was thinking. We knew exactly what was going through her mind, seeing her just simply look down because of the situation prior. But it wasn't even, it really wasn't even the situation prior. Like, honestly, take out the situation prior to that, and still have that shot, and you didn't even need a situational, like a pre-existing circumstances for us as an audience member to know what she was thinking. Like, it was that good. It was that well executed. It was that brilliant that we as an audience, we know what's going on. We know what she's thinking. I was blown away by that. And that had, like, I'm telling, this has nothing to do with the grand scheme of the movie. It was just such a subtle and unbelievably powerful scene that, again, had nothing to do with the storyline of the movie. But it did. It did. If she had have done anything about the scene, then it would have changed the whole outcome of the rest of the movie. It would have been totally focus shift. Unbelievable. Now, one of the scenes in this movie, again, in terms of power, that I found so unbelievably incredible. Again, so simple, so effective, so brilliant. It made me think of something that I haven't thought about in a really long time, and it actually works. It actually works. Two characters are embracing each other over a situation, and it made me think about, if you've never heard of this before, you're about to hear it here, and you're welcome. The 30-second hug. You're like, what are you talking about? Now, if you actually physically embrace someone, it's not 30 seconds, but it's I think it's 27 seconds actually, to genuinely, wholeheartedly, like embrace them, like genuinely, like firmly, you actually release, I think it's serotonin, which is a natural chemical in the brain that makes you feel really good, like really good. In fact, running or any form of exercising in any degree releases the exact same feeling. After you've done it, it releases it, which makes you feel really, really good. And a 30-second hug from someone genuine releases the exact same thing. I know that's a really random fact, but there's a scene in this movie that made me think of that, and I was like, yeah, no, I need to add that in my movie review. One of the sequences and conversations that the main doctor in this movie, when she's really young, has with her therapist in this movie, it was so real. It was so real. It was so authentic. Her facial expressions and her verbal communication and the way she was saying what she was saying in this scene was so accurately, outstandingly, powerfully executed. Every word of her dialogue I literally kept thinking to myself every time she spoke that it would be so curious to know how many times they actually shot that scene. The reason why I say that is because everything she said hit us as an audience member so hard. Every word that she articulated in this scene, you knew as a character that we believed her, even though it's a woman acting out in front of a camera. Like that's the reality of this. It wasn't real. She was playing a part. In fact, she was playing a part so well, us as an audience didn't even know. You were totally taken in, and there was nothing in it that made you go, oh my gosh, she's just acting that out. Because the execution of her acting was so brilliant. It was so founded and grounded in the character that she was playing that we bought every line of dialogue that she was speaking, and I loved it. I was so captivated by what this woman was saying on screen, and it was so executed so brilliantly that it was like, yeah, I'm sold. I'm totally sold. So because of the fact that my mum recommended this, and as you saw at the start of this movie review, she just wanted to let everyone know that she told me about this movie. One of my mum's favorite scenes in this movie, and after seeing this movie, now I know why, is the mother dusting scene in this movie in the library. Now, those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, when you see the movie, you'll know what I'm talking about. And those of you who have seen the movie, that movie is so beautiful, isn't it? It's so beautiful. It's so amazing. She sees, I won't give it away, she sees an unbelievable amount of something. And that room changes the history and the future of her two sons. And it's incredible at how one mother's vision of what she sees and her amazement of where she is in the situation and how in awe she is of what she's surrounded by, about one man's hunger and thirst for more knowledge, completely changes her perception of her belief and her faith in her own two sons, and especially their birthed knowledge and wellspring of wisdom and knowledge to the rest of the movie, and obviously what the main character's outcome is and what he becomes, and his hunger for what he truly wants in life, and where he pursues the rest of his career and what he becomes. That I totally get it. After my mum told me about that scene and I saw it, I was like, yeah, wow. And towards the rest of the film, there's a really, really, really quick sequence, a very, very quick sequence, heading towards probably about the middle of the movie, to be honest. And that scene actually unfolds into something else, and it's really, really, really beautiful the way the director shows that her amazement of what she sees actually it becomes a blessing in her own life from that one room, and it is truly awesome. I love a scene in this movie personally where a word is spelt out, a word, agriculture. One of the things about that scene that it just really, really warmed my heart. It choked me up because it showed how the human mind and the hunger for someone's passion can be just incredibly unfolding in front of us as an audience. And I loved how incredible his realism of what his execution was, of him being a character and knowing what he wanted. You saw his hunger, you saw his passion, you saw him thrive off of what he was getting out of what he was putting in. And it was so incredible. And I'm going to flip that now. I'm going to flip that and segue into something else. There's a scene in this movie where, so that's what I was talking about. The agriculture scene is a little bit earlier, but then there's a scene in this movie where he's getting an award, and obviously, this scene was supposed to trigger us as an audience, and me personally, man, was I triggered. Wow, it really triggered me. Me personally, specifically, because of this. When I was growing up in school, me personally, racism wasn't a thing. It wasn't. I had so much culture in my upbringing that watching this movie just really twisted my anger, because it's not and it wasn't a thing for me growing up. Like, it never was. And seeing this teacher be so disgusting and so awful to what he was, and when you see the movie, you'll know what I'm talking about. And those of you who have seen the movie, Mum, right? Seriously, and everyone else, how amazingly, just awesomely, infuriatingly, frustratingly gross was that scene, and how just angry it made you feel, because you knew that it was real, and you, like, back in those days anyway, and it was just, man, that scene really got me fired up, really fired up. And I will end my movie review with this, guys. I really appreciate you being here. Seriously, you guys have been amazing, and I really hope that I've encouraged you to go and see Gifted Hands. One of the lines that the mum says in this movie that I felt really powerful is, she said that wearing expensive clothing on the outside makes you cheap on the inside. And it's so fascinating at how worldly views on what we are and how we dress depicts, from an outsider's perspective, what you are as a person, when it doesn't. And it never will. Like, ever. In fact, being, dripping in fancy whatever actually has nothing to do with your character as a person. In fact, it has more to do with your perception of how other people see you. And I was really blown away by that line. Guys, I really appreciate you being here. You guys have been amazing. I really value it so much. Have you seen The Gifted Hands? What did you think about it? If you don't know where to find it, it is on Netflix. There you go. There's an extra Netflix introduction, as you saw at the start of this movie review. I really appreciate you being here. I love you. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. I'd love to hear from you. What did you think of this movie review? What did you think of this movie? You guys are amazing. I really appreciate you staying around for this. I'm glad I got to introduce my mother to you. And Mum, thanks again. Seriously, thanks for recommending this movie. I love you so much. You're amazing. Thanks for having the ability to give me the passion for movies. Seriously, I value it so much, and giving me the array of letting me just watch so many movies as a kid, because my hunger and passion for movies has never died down. I appreciate it. I love you so much. You guys are all my fans and my fellow viewers out there. Thank you so much for watching this movie review. I hope that I've encouraged you to go and see, if you haven't already, Gifted Hands on Netflix, starring Cuba Gooding Jr. You guys are amazing. Until my next review, don't forget, you're amazing. And I think my new movie review that I'm going to be doing is Trap. However, I don't know when I'm going to see it, because yeah, my schedule is really tight right now, and it's not out at a time that I can see it. So I might unfortunately have to go and see it and be really tight for work. I don't know. I'm not too sure yet, but we'll see what happens. Guys, you're amazing. I appreciate your time. As always, this is Superman Steve, loving you always and appreciating your time. Take care. Until my next movie review, peace out, A-Town down. Superman Steve, flying out.